Today we're going to be working on section 2.4, variables and equations. Remember, variables are the letters that are used in a sentence, a mathematical sentence, and equations have an equal sign, which is what we're going to talk about right here. An equation is a mathematical sentence with an equal sign. So what's the difference between an equation and an expression? Equations have equal signs, expression does not have an equal sign. Another term that you need to know is open sentence. An open sentence is an equation with a variable. So it still is going to have an equal sign, but there's no way to necessarily solve that. So let's do some examples. Something you'll see in your book will say examples classify as true, false, or an open sentence. Okay, so 9 minus 7 equals 3. If I do 9 minus 7, I know that that is 2 equals 3. Is this true or false? It is false. And then in your book, it asks you to explain, so we're going to explain on here too. It is false because, we're just going to put a little semicolon, 2 does not equal 3. Remember, this equal sign with a line through it means does not equal. Alright, the second one says 8 plus x equals 2. This is an open sentence. We cannot solve this because we do not know, well, we can solve it, but right now we're not going to solve it. We're just going to say that's an open sentence. I can't do 8 plus x. I can't figure out if it equals 2 or not, so we are just going to leave that as an open sentence. If you have to say why, you will just write a semicolon and write variable. Number 3 says 4 times 5. Remember the little asterisk sign means times. 4 times 5 equals 20. I'm going to solve that. 4 times 5 is 20 equals 20. That is true. Sorry, my R looks like a V. That is true. I'm going to write my semicolon and write 20 equals 20. So this is kind of an easier way to just say, you know, is it true, false, or is it an open sentence that we aren't going to solve yet? Let's do some more examples. Alright, in this one, your directions say, write an equation for each sentence. So we've done this before, you guys. What's the product of 20 and 3? We would just do 20 times 3, except for this time, we are going to use the word is. Wherever you see the word is, you are going to write an equal sign. Is means equals. Alright, so we need to state whether each equation is true or false, or an open sentence, and we need to explain like we did on the last slide. So first off, I'm just going to write 20 minus x equals is, means equals, 3. So there is my equation. 20 minus x equals 3. Then I have to state whether the equation is true, false, or an open sentence. This one is an open sentence. Why is it an open sentence? Because there is a variable. Don't think I'm going to quite be able to fit that in there, so I'm going to go down a little bit. So I need to have these 3 parts to answer the question fully. Did I write an equation? Yep, 20 minus x equals 3. Did I state whether each equation is true, false, or an open sentence? Yes, this one is an open sentence. Then I need to explain that, and I did right here because I wrote it is a variable. If there is a variable in there, we know it's going to be an open sentence, and we need to, eventually, we will be solving for that variable. Alright, now the next one says 9 times the opposite of 5 is 45. So how I'm going to write that is 9, remember we aren't going to use the multiplication sign anymore. I'm going to do a parentheses that I know means times, the opposite of 5. So what that means is I'm going to do a negative 5, and then I'm going to write is, which means equals, 45. Now I know when I'm multiplying a positive number by a negative number, I'm always going to get a negative number because they are opposite signs. they were both the same signs, then my answer would be positive, but in this case, they are opposite, so my answer is negative. Then I can just do 9 times 5. I know 9 times 5 is 45, equals 45. Now my question to you, is that a true sentence? Is that a true equation? No, that is not the same. They do not equal each other. So here I already wrote my equation. Now I need to state whether it is true, false, or an open sentence. There are no variables, so I know I have to either do true or false. Because negative 45 does not equal 45, I'm going to write false for my answer. Sorry, I forgot to put a box. This is your whole answer. You need to write this whole thing on your sheet. So this one, I need to write the equation false because it is not false, and then I need to write negative 45 does not equal 45. Put a box around that whole thing because the whole thing is my answer. You must have a box around your answer. Let's try some more examples. Another section from your book is another definition we need to know is the solution of an equation is the value for a variable. So the number is the number for a letter or a variable that makes an equation true. So what that means, if I said 4 plus x equals 5 for x equals 1, that's asking me if I plug a 1 in for x. So if I do 4 plus 1, does that equal 5? Yes, it does. So this 1 would be your solution for that equation. So that's what we're going to do here. Is the given number a solution of the equation? So let's take the 1, plug it in for both x's. So I would do 8 plus 1. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a 1, equals 2 times 1. Remember, if we have a number right next to a letter, it's always going to be multiplying those two things together. So 8 plus 1 is 9 equals 2. Is this a solution for the equation? No. In your book, I do not believe it asks you to explain. But if it did ask you to explain, then you would write semicolon, 9 does not equal 2. Put a box around. If it does not ask you to explain, then just the no would be your answer. But I do still need to see this work. I need to see exactly what you're doing so that I can know if you do have problems how to help you. Even if you don't have problems, I still need to see that you plugged 1 in for the x's, got an answer, and that you know for a fact that that is not a true sentence. Alright, so let's try again. We have 9 minus m equals 3. I'm going to plug 6 in wherever I see an m. So I'm going to do 9 minus 6 equals 3. 9 minus 6 is 3 equals 3. Is it true? Why, yes. It is true. So I'm going to put a box around the S. Again, if it asks you to explain, you would just write 3 equals 3, and that is good enough explaining for me. Right, this last one says a tent weighs 6 pounds. Your backpack and tent weigh 33 pounds. So we need to write an equation. What I'm going to do is I know my tent weighs 6 pounds. 6 plus x, and I'm going to write up here, x equals my tent, however much my tent weighs, equals 33 pounds. So that means my tent plus my backpack, x does not equal tent. X equals backpack. Sorry for that. Our x equals our backpack. So 6 is our tent, x is our backpack. We know they have to add together to make 33. There's my equation. I answered letter A. Now B says, use the equation to determine if the backpack weighs 27 pounds. So they're saying plug in 27 wherever you see an X. So I'm going to rewrite my equation down here. 6 plus X equals 33. Instead of an X, I'm going to do 6 plus 27 equals 33. Is 6 plus 27 33? Let's add it up. 7 plus 6 is 13. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to get 33 equals 33. Is that true? Yes. If it asks you why, because 33 equals 33. Again, I need to see this work here. This needs to be on your paper, showing me that you did in fact plug in 27 for the X and you added them together. That is all I have for you today. You can work on your homework. If you have any questions, please ask me on Edmodo or in class tomorrow. Thank you for watching.